Colorado looked around, and I think they realized, I'm on the Titanic, and I'm getting in a lifeboat before any of the women and children even know what's happening.
Yeah. Colorado jumped ship before. Maybe they probably had inside information, but before it came out today that it looks like, the SEC signs a deal with ESPN for, I don't know, $1 billion. The Big Ten signs with Fox for, I don't know, $1 billion. Big 12 signs a deal with, I think, ESPN and maybe somebody for, good money. They said 31, so almost $32 million a team. Pac-12 apparently going to sign a deal with Apple TV.
Yeah, they're going to get 2 packs of Cheez-Its and some beef jerky. I think they really get like $19 million each. It's really disgusting. It's really sad. It is. I don't like the Pac-12, and I'll tell you, one of the main reasons I don't like them is because of Bill Walton always saying Conference of Champions. Yeah, but nobody really cares about your rugby championship.
Or ping pong.
Or ping pong, or whatever. Nobody cares about that. So you haven't been relevant since USC won a title in the mid-2000s and was on a roll then. And before that, you weren't relevant for quite some time. So just quit talking about it. And I listen to Rick Neuhauser all the time on Sirius XM. He talks about how it's just a shame and the Pac-12 and so much tradition, but nobody goes to the games. They don't care as much as we do. Before the show, you and I, together, like simultaneously almost, rattled off every SEC champion since '92 because we were thinking about the SEC title game and some other things, and when every SEC team's last 10-win season was, and we did it just off of memory. Now, we had nothing in front of us. You can't do that with the Pac-12. Nobody knows. Nobody's worried about it. It's not even, they talk about Pac-12 after dark. Occasionally there'd be a fun game, but really it's kind of hard to watch. And it's kind of hard to get into a game from your seat at home when there's nobody at the game you're watching.
Have they ever sold out a Pac-12 title game?
No.
Ever. Even come close.
And look, Stanford, again, Stanford is one of the greatest learning institutions in this country. They just don't have any business playing football anymore. It doesn't work. It's dead. It's gone. Forget it. Toby Gerhart, Christian McCaffrey, they're gone. Andrew Luck. It was a good run for Stanford for a little bit. It's done now. Washington State, God bless them. I think that's one of the more fun fan bases, I guess, because they sort of did the South Carolina thing where they show up even when they were stinking.
But if they're not a party guy like, what's his name?
Mike Leach?
No, before.
Mike Price?
Mike Price. Or you're not a weird, eccentric guy like Mike Leach. Why is Washington State even remotely relevant?
Oregon State is, name some great players from Oregon State. Chad Ochocinco, TJ Houshmandzadeh, Gary Payton. 2 of those 3 played football. 1 of them played basketball. Those are the only ones I can really remember. There was the running back for the Rams, Stephen, whose last name escapes me, who was not bad. But again, it's done. And part of this is the expansion. Everybody was worried about expansion gives all these other opportunities. No, what it really has done is made the big boys realize we don't want the Pac-12 getting an automatic bid, and that's sort of how this thing's written. So everybody's going to absorb all these teams. And then if you only have 4 conferences to deal with, all of a sudden they're more at-large bids, so you can make more money. And if you're Michigan, if you're Bama, if you're Ohio State, if you're LSU, if you're Tennessee, if you're Georgia, I get it because you're the ones who built college football. Yes, it's fun occasionally when Washington State goes on a run. It's fun occasionally when Oregon State has TJ Houshmandzadeh and Chad Ochocinco on the same team. That is fun every once in a while.
And they beat Notre Dame's brains in.
And they do, and that's great. But see, as a college football fan, I can 100% live without Oregon State. I can't live without Notre Dame.
Erickson.
Huh?
They also had Dennis Erickson.
True. But my point is,
I'm just saying they had a great coach. That's why they were really good.
Yeah. Well, and a coach who also was known to.
I'm not saying how he did it.
I know. And all that's legal now, so it doesn't matter. But my point is, we can live without whatever you call the Oregon State game. There's something like
It's the Civil War.
is that the Civil War? Okay. We can live without the Civil War. We can't live without the Iron Bowl.
The Apple Cup, though.
We can live without the Apple Cup. We can't live without Third Saturday in October. You can't do those things. So we need those games. And I'm sorry that some of these teams are going to get caught up in the wash.
So Arizona State, and who's the other one that I saw?
And probably Utah.
Utah go to the Big 12.
And see, this makes a ton of sense.
Oregon, Washington goes to the Big 10.
All that makes sense to me. Now, if I'm the SEC, I'm probably just going to see how things shake out. But I don't think the Big 10 will want to take Washington, Oregon, FSU, and Clemson. I don't think so.
You don't think who will?
The Big 10.
Big 10.
So I think the best thing to do is sort of wait this out a little bit. And you can probably, and even if they do take FSU and Clemson, then and the ACC falls apart, then you can go, okay, fine. We'll take North Carolina, Virginia, Miami, and, maybe Boston College, maybe Virginia Tech, maybe something like that.
David and I were kind of talking about this. Just for basketball's sake, North Carolina, Duke, and baseball, Miami, Florida State, those four, and maybe you throw in Clemson, throw in another one too. But just for, those matchups.
Right, but see,
North Carolina coming too.
Duke's got to bring more to the table. Duke's got to bring more to the table
just
than
for
basketball.
Auburn going to Cameron Indoor and playing a game.
Understood.
I'm in it. I'm in.
I hear you, but that's not going to be what drives the train. It's all football driven. We all know this, right?
Of course.
And Vanderbilt is just so lucky to sit back and go, we're essentially Northwestern, we're essentially Stanford, we're essentially Wake Forest.
Without the hazing.
Well, they had it, I think, when James Franklin was there. They had something.
Well, I think that was rape.
Yeah.
Oh.
Semantics.
That's right.
But anyway, I think that it's kind of a shame what's happening. But this is what everybody wanted. Everybody had to have all this expansion. And when you start making changes like that, the teams that can move the meter are going to be like, hey, we want more of a piece of the pie. We're not going to expand just to let Memphis and Washington State have a shot at our title. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen for sure. So what do we end up? 3 conferences or 4?
I'm going to guess 4, but
4 with 20, or 4 with
well,
at least 2 of them are going to have probably 16 to 18 teams.
My dream would be I really would like to see FSU and Clemson in our conference. Okay, and then I could say I'd be fine with North Carolina because I've always wanted to go to North Carolina Stadium. It looks beautiful. Like it's not the most rabid fan base in football, but it looks so pretty. I'd like to go there. I wanted to go to Palo Alto, but I better hurry.
Yeah.
And then maybe Virginia or Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech doesn't really move the meter as much for me.
Neither does.
No, or maybe I could live with Miami. I could live with it.
Yeah.
But I feel like they'd be a little out of. They'd be sort of like Georgia Tech. Like they would feel like they're above us.
Yeah.
In everything but football.
Well, I'm not sure Georgia. Well, yeah, maybe. We'll wait and see. But anyway, that's happening. I don't know when it's all going to really come to a head, but that's going to happen. The Pac-12 is done, essentially. So we will. They may hang on for a year or 2, but I don't know. It seems like things are starting to speed up.
Patrick, we have our first comment. Patrick Judkins said Luke Robinson was a topic of discussion in the Auburn Discord after the Locked On Bama episode. The Locked On Auburn, who is run by a guy named Zach Blackerby. I guess that's what you're talking about, Patrick. Zach Blackerby does a great job with Locked On Auburn. He sort of runs the whole college side of it. I don't know if you know that, but he's a super dude. I talked to him today. And, so I'm sure after we had an episode talking about Perry Thompson, talking about all this. And really, I don't know why I'd be the subject of it. It was more Jimmy. Jimmy was a little bit more heated than I think. But
about what? About him going
just Actually, I think both of us were kind of the posture. Neither one of us was really upset about it. I think we both said, well, he may flip back. We don't want our fans doing anything. No. Because you don't know. Don't ever assume. Until it's December, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Now, it's great to have a commitment. It makes you feel good. But something that Perry Thompson said today that kind of made me laugh, he said, or yesterday I guess it was, he said that Hugh Freeze is better at developing wide receivers for the next level than Nick Saban. And everybody goes, if he believed that, then I know he's going to flip back. Because all Nick Saban's going to do is say, I want one of my wide receivers won the Heisman, right? Like Hugh Freeze had 2 1,000-yard receivers in his coaching career. And Saban's had a ton. So I'm sort of like, just in this day and age, let it all play out. Don't ever cuss a recruit for anything because it can all change immediately. Like these kids are playing the game and they're doing it and they should. So more power to them.
All right with me. We've got to take our first break here on the Auburn Blitz. Oh, it's not the Auburn Blitz. On Sports Blitz Live.
Feels like it.
I did for a minute. But don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more right after this.
Forbes Auto Sales, located on Highway 280 in Kellyton, is all about selection and service. Selection of clean, sharp used cars, trucks, and SUVs selected by Robert Forbes himself. Service. Forbes Auto Sales is all about servicing vehicles on the lot, but also servicing your personal vehicle. Keep this in mind. If you don't see what you're looking for on the lot, just tell old Robert to go shopping for you. That's what he does. Personal service, and that's what it's all about at Forbes Auto Sales in Kellyton.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin, comfort for life.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
Karen Chanel, your State Farm agent in Alexander City, Alabama, and the greater Lake Martin area. I want to talk to you a little bit today about your discounts. How many of you are entitled to discounts that you may or may not be receiving? One of the easiest discounts on your homeowner's insurance is that of having a fire extinguisher. Coupled with a deadbolt lock and a smoke alarm, that gives you an automatic discount on your homeowner's policy.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you. Again, just getting started on tonight's show. Thank you so much for all of you out there being with us. Bob Kessling, the voice of the Volunteers, will be with us about 8 o'clock, talking about Tennessee's upcoming season. And then a little bit later, Stephen Willis from Locked On Ole Miss to talk about the Rebels. We are brought to you each and every Tuesday evening by JR Sports Bar and Grill. Wonderful place to have lunch or dinner right here in downtown Alexander City. And Sunshine Heating and Air. For all your heating and cooling needs, give Kevin Kill and his crew a call. That is 256-825-4849. Thank you so much again to our sponsors. What were you saying you wanted to do?
Oh, I just saw something
Or
on
do you
Twitter.
want to talk more about Perry Thompson committing to Auburn?
We certainly can. Listen, I think it's wonderful. You guys get a 5-star, and you've already got the rings printed. I think it's wonderful. You need a few more.
I don't know who
compete.
you're referring to.
But that's all right. No,
I was going to say, Alabama. For all the Auburn people, Alabama's got a great class right now. I mean,
our class it's still going to be really, really, really good.
It's going to be really, really good unless Auburn, starts taking a liking to some more guys.
Wow, I'm telling you, it's a cocky bunch from a group that's best win is in the Birmingham Bowl the last 5 years.
You got to take shots when you can.
I know, boy, and y'all have not been able to. But, all right, every SEC team's last 10-win season. This is a graphic that just came up on Twitter. It wasn't on his itinerary. Vanderbilt has never had one. Andy astutely pointed out, though, that until, about the mid-'90s, or somewhere in there, everybody only played 11 games and then the bowl game. So, it would be very difficult for Vanderbilt to have done that. I told you, I said, when's Arkansas's last 10-win season?
And I said, surely they won 10 games in 98.
Well, okay, it's later than that.
Okay. Bobby Petrino?
I'm not giving you any more hints. Pick a year.
I'll say 2009.
11.
Okay.
Not bad. They had a pretty good team that year.
Yeah.
They weren't bad. A&M, this one shocked me a little.
Texas A&M.
Yeah.
I'll say 1986.
2012. It shocked me in the sense
That's got to be Manziel's first
year. It was.
Okay.
It was the year you won the Heisman. But what shocks me about it is we all talk about A&M as if they're the biggest, this huge threat on all of our schedules. Every year we do this, right?
Well, supposedly they have a team full of blue chip recruits.
I hear you, and I'm how I am on blue chips.
You have convinced me that's
how you win.
Yeah,
I agree, but I'm saying that tells you even more how Jimbo Fisher has underachieved, right? South Kakalaki.
Oof. Spurrier never won, I don't think.
Actually, I think he won
11
in a row. I think he won 11 3 years in a row.
He did.
Last time was 2013.
That would have been okay.
Mississippi State. This one should be pretty easy.
Mississippi State.
When the last time they won 10 games.
Okay, I guess that was the 2014.
When they went to number 1, right?
Okay.
Missouri.
The year that they lost to Alabama in the SEC title
That was
game?
14-2.
Okay.
Auburn, 2017, we know. Florida.
Dan Mullen won 11. That was just,
19.
2019?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kentucky won 10 in 2021. Ole Miss won 10 in 2021, or more. I don't know exactly what it's not showing me the records. Just Tennessee, Bama, LSU, and Georgia all won 10 this year.
Ole Miss was 10-3.
But that's just interesting to me that it's been that long for A&M. It's been that, South Carolina has been so bad, for the most part in the SEC. And then Spurrier had a nice run, and then they've been pretty bad again. But Shane Beamer, again, a lot of people out there may not care about this. Because I follow recruiting, I love it. Dylan Stewart is one of the top probably 10, 15 players in the country, 5-star. Everybody loves him. Ohio State, he was crystal ball to Ohio State or to Georgia, everywhere. He commits to South Carolina today. That's a huge monster deal. And if you're an SEC fan, it's both great and terrible. It's just, I mean, if you're an Alabama fan, you're like, good, he didn't go to Georgia or Ohio State, and he's going to play somebody. He's going for somebody who's going to play Georgia. You know, that's great. But now the SEC is going to be divisionless, so it doesn't really matter. And after this year, and
what I was thinking was Spurrier won 11 3 years in a row, but none of those three did he go to the SEC title game. The one time he went to the SEC title game, they won 9 games.
That is true.
That's the weirdest thing about that.
That is very odd.
But anyway, that's why I couldn't get.
And I think he went 11-2 all of those times.
I think he did.
I think it was 11-2, 11-2.
I think he did.
But it tells you how good Spurrier was too.
Tells you how good the SEC is too.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, and then not only that, and this is apropos of nothing, but Ole Miss's Chris Beard, who got in all that trouble in Texas, he's the head coach now. He got a commitment from a guy named John Bowl, who is one of the top 35 players in the country. I mean, again, Alabama and Auburn now are like top 35 player in the country. I mean, because we get those every year, it seems like. But for Ole Miss, it's a monster deal. And I think, didn't Alan Flanagan end up over there?
Yes.
I'm telling you, Ole Miss isn't going to be bad this year.
Their turnovers will go up, I know.
But they will be pretty good. I'm telling you that Chris Beard's going to have them turned around.
I think he's a really good coach.
Yeah, he's going to have them turned around. So the SEC is good. Is going to be good in basketball. We're still good in football. Of course, baseball speaks for itself. We had an all SEC baseball final, softball.
Mm-hmm.
What can't we do, Andy?
Now Oklahoma's going to be in the SEC.
I know, that's ridiculous.
That's just dominant.
I
mean, you talk about domination of women's softball. And we'll take the retroactive national championship.
Oh, SEC will claim those 100. Listen, here's what bothers me. Does it bother you at all when we do the Legends of the SEC thing and like we include guys from A&M from like the 80s or something? Like I don't think they should count.
No.
Like A&M should. Okay, Johnny Manziel is a legend of the SEC now. That's fine. You get to count him going forward.
Yeah, I don't. That doesn't sound right to me. That of course
He didn't. For all we know, like some of those people didn't play any SEC teams at all.
No, probably not for sure. Now, anyway, that's a good point. How often do they do that? Once a year?
They do it. They do it too much.
Yeah.
And they do it for every team. We should make it like the NFL Hall of Fame. Like, not every team has to be represented. You're not a legend just because you played there.
True.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think legends should be that.
Need to have done something legendary.
Exactly.
Yeah. Up against the break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more of Sports Blitz Live right after this.
LMG Ad Agency is the go-to vendor for all your digital and print marketing needs. We have in-house production for all projects, including graphic design, web design, social media marketing, videography, and print marketing. Our video production is up to industry standard with modern 4K cameras and drone capabilities. We pride ourselves in client-committed relationships, and every project is personalized to your needs. Visit lmgadagency.com for a free quote today. Let us tell your story.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need with top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindawa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill, and our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto. Central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
Looking for an attorney you can trust for your real estate closings? Wisdom Law Firm at Lake Martin has you covered. Your real estate transactions are fast, convenient, and professional every step of the way. Wisdom Law is certified and licensed by the American Land and Title Association and approved by all local lenders. Visit Wisdom Law Firm at 6366 Highway 49 in Dadeville or at their Auburn location at 2353 Bent Creek Road. No communication concerning a lawyer's legal services shall be published or broadcast unless it contains the following language, which shall be clearly legible or audible as the case may be. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen-printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you. About 30 more minutes left in the first hour of tonight's program. Just reminiscing about old football. Again, I don't know.
Can't stop Andy and me from talking about Kansas State football.
Really. It's in the computer bank, so we're having a little trouble retrieving it, but I think we got it. How about a national championship game of Tennessee and Kansas State back in 1998? That would have been interesting.
Well, you know what it makes me think immediately? How mad would Alabama and Auburn fans have been? Like, Kansas State's going to the national championship, but we can't get there, you know?
Florida State with a backup quarterback, if I remember right, because Chris Winkie, I think, was hurt. He'd been there, I think, and it ended up, it was a very tight game for much of that game, and Tennessee kind of pulled away. Maybe it was like 14-9. Was that right? It was
Peerless Price had a big touchdown.
Yeah.
Kind of late in the third or something.
Sounds
and it was
right.
T. Martin, not Peyton Manning.
So that Kansas State team, if they played Tennessee, I would take Kansas State.
Yeah.
So what might have been? Who knows? All right, Luke.
Was Darren Sproles on that team?
I don't think so. I think he came along a little later.
Yeah, had to be.
He was, yeah.
But they've always had the little diminutive running back. You know, that little 5'5", the guy from last year, whose name escapes me. But and I should have remembered he had like an 85-yard run against Alabama.
And then everything went downhill. That was pretty good.
But his dad works for the Cowboys, and so when he was drafted by the Cowboys, his dad put in the call and said, "How would you like to come to work with me in the morning?" That's pretty cool.
Pretty cool. I'm thinking Darryl Sproles was on that team that obliterated Oklahoma in the Big 12 title game, but I'm thinking that's mid-2000s?
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Sproles.
All right, Luke, memorable, we're talking about Ole Miss and Tennessee tonight. Memorable Ole Miss games, coaches, players, whatever you'd like to focus on.
Still going to go back to Joe Lee Dunn, right? Blitz!
He's coached everywhere else. He did have a stint at Ole Miss as well. Billy Dog Brewer, I think, was the
Billy Brewer.
Was the
God.
it got Ole Miss on essentially death penalty type restrictions, and
they were never good under him.
No, they weren't. They did beat Auburn's brains in 1992, but that was because Auburn was bad. But then a young Tom Tuberville takes over and kind of shepherds them out of probation for a couple of years. And then, of course, he bolts to Auburn.
Take him out of here in a pine box, he said.
Auburn and Ole Miss, Tuberville, now Hugh Freeze. Tuberville had a pretty good run at Auburn. I guess if you get 10 years and the same kind of success with Hugh Freeze, you'd hope for better, but, it was
maybe Hugh Freeze won't cost us the Space Center program or whatever that Tuberville did.
The space.
You know, we were getting this Space Center thing in Huntsville.
Oh, we were?
And I think Tuberville is sort of the one that fumbled
put the kibosh on
Yeah,
it?
Biden said, we're just going to keep it in Colorado.
No.
And so,
that's new to
At
me.
least all the blame seems to be falling at Tuberville's feet.
I see. Okay.
Whether or not it's deserved, I won't go there. We'll keep this less political.
Yeah, pro-Alabama. Yeah.
But, no, hey, I think Alabama and Auburn fans because, hey, we'd like a space center.
Why not? Yeah. I thought we already had one, but
well,
this
you
will be
know,
a bigger and
they're
better.
getting rid of the rocket, you know.
Are they really?
Yeah, in Huntsville, the,
Okay.
the rocket that
It's nothing to do with Ole Miss games, players and coaches.
No, but I'll tell
I
you what, this
digress.
is almost more interesting than most of Ole Miss's history.
I have an Alabama friend who likes to bring up just because it's so funny. Always talks about, says, he always says, you know, he didn't go to a lot of Alabama games, but huge Alabama fan, got in mind like an encyclopedia. But says, I was at the game against Ole Miss. I think it was Bill Curry's first year, maybe.
Was it 87?
I don't know.
No, it was 89.
Maybe, okay.
I was there in Jackson.
And or maybe this was in Tuscaloosa.
Oh.
So this one maybe.
Oh, no, never mind.
And he said,
I know what he's about to say.
And he said, who, Jeff Dunn was it?
Jeff Dunn. We were 0 of 7.
He said, we completed 2 passes that day, both of them to Ole Miss.
Yeah, we did not complete a pass.
Did not complete a pass to Alabama. And he said, you know, he said, but I was there. I witnessed that. That actually happened.
That did happen. And then that is god awful. Now,
that was
his 87. Okay. I don't think that, I say it was 87. I think that was 88, actually.
Okay.
I think that was 88. Now, I don't think that game was on TV because I remember distinctly listening to that game on the radio and wanting to vomit.
Yeah.
But I went to the game in 80. I was in high school at Indian Springs, and one of our teachers, counselors, whatever, decided to, he said, look, I'm going to get up a trip. He was a big Alabama fan. He said, listen, anybody who wants to go, you know, $50, get your tickets. Because, I mean, it wasn't a big, you know. And it was in Jackson for some reason. So we drove over to Jackson in this big bus. Alabama's down 21-0. Like that. And we were like, oh, my God. Alabama wins the game 62-27. And that was like the beginning of the Gary Hollingsworth. Remember that year? Gary Hollingsworth was something, and, you know, Saran Stacy and Craig Sanderson, whose son, I think, plays for Mountain Brook right now.
This was 89.
Yeah. And, of course, they go to Auburn and get beat, and they lose to Miami in the bowl game. But that game was pretty doggone incredible. And that game wasn't on TV. Now, Ole Miss may have been on probation.
For scored 62 points back in those days, that was memorable. It's
one of the darndest things I've ever seen. It just never stopped. Like now, you score 62, you get it because. But then, and see, nobody passed the ball that much. That was Homer Smith doing his thing. I mean, it was really crazy. But yeah, those are probably the two most memorable. Tuberville came to Tuscaloosa in like 90. I want to say 98, and I think he took Alabama to overtime or double overtime. Alabama ended up winning. I remember being at that game going, we're about to lose to Ole Miss. And then, of course, you know, they end up winning. But so the Ole Miss game with Hugh Freeze as the coach when Alabama and Ole Miss were going back and forth, and then finally Alabama sort of took command, but neither team could stop anybody. That was a lot of fun. I mean, it's just there've been a lot of good Ole Miss games. I'm
very fond of a 1993. Me, Brett Pritchard, and another friend of ours, Jeffrey Kelly, load up. We just have a whim. I don't know. It's summer. We're not doing anything. I mean, well, it was getting close. I mean,
well, you really did go out on a whim if it was summertime.
School. I mean, you know, it was still hot. I'm saying, you know, we were still just, you know, kind of messing around because it was on a Thursday night. It was a school night, but we were like, you know what? Let's get tickets and go to an Auburn game. What the heck? So 17 years old probably, load up in my two-tone blue Grand Am and head down there and go to that game. And I think Auburn wins like, you know, 17-14 or 17-13 or something. It was fairly close, but I just remember watching that game and thinking, you know, we're okay. We might win 7 games this year, and I had been no inkling or clue that team could possibly even go undefeated. And lo and behold, they do.
I remember the way I remember that that season for Auburn. Do you remember the fabulous Sportz babe? There's this rather husky woman that had a sports talk show. And this is before Sirius XM. And it was like the only thing I could pick up in LX City. I remember being in Ellick City listening to that. I was
Did she
driving by the
broadcast
post
from
office.
Ellick City?
No, but she broadcasted from New York, and she kind of talked like this.
Okay.
And she was like, I told y'all Auburn's going to be the only undefeated team left at the end of the year. I told you that. And I was like, are you talking with one of those voice synthesizer things? But anyway, she's gone. I don't know if she's dead. She might look up for dead or alive.
Gone.
She's got to be dead.
Yeah, you would think. Alive or dead? Fabulous.
Probably.
Sports babe?
The fabulous sports babe.
And no one knows.
She's got to be dead.
Yeah, that's for sure. Chucky Mullins, that whole deal was, I mean, that's a great, it's a tragic story, but I mean, it's a good story in itself. And
what was the guy's name who hit him? Brad?
The guy from Vanderbilt.
Brad.
Tight end.
He said like they were really tight up till
he still goes to his grave every Christmas Day and cleans it up and, does like a pilgrimage that he does.
It was a rather innocuous looking hit too.
It was.
It was not
it was
like something savage.
No.
And that was back when you could be savage.
Yeah.
But boy, and then Patrick Willis. Do you remember Patrick Willis played with a cast at one time, and it looked like something like one of the Transformers would have. But he was amazing.
He was a dude. Yeah. Good.
Deuce McAllister.
Very, very.
Oh,
good.
he was so good.
Yeah. Eli. I mean,
Eli was great. I mean, but Eli not being able to beat LSU at home to go to the SEC.
Stupid kicker. I mean, look, he's supposed to be best kicker in the league.
I know. Well, that's a lot of pressure.
It's only like a 45-yarder, 42, 45.
That's a lot.
It's
of
like
pressure.
a Scott Norwood.
God, though. I mean, I'll tell you, it's going to be, if Ole Miss gets to the SEC title game, it's going to be a party.
Yeah, really. Ole Miss was that close, a field goal away. They were, all you got to do is stop him, the guy in overtime, Hunter Henry, tossing the ball backwards. Those two plays cost him two opportunities.
God, is it Alex Hill? What was his name? The running back from Miami.
Pick it up and run it
and he's the running back, I think, if I remember right, he was going to sign with Arkansas, and then his mom was like, nah, we're going to sign somewhere else. And he was like, no, I want to go to Arkansas. And she was like, nah.
She's the one that absconded with him.
And like, I think it was like a whole big thing for a while, and I think he ended up eventually signing with him, obviously. Yeah. But he just happened to get the ball from Hunter Henry. Like, Hunter Henry just threw it.
Just tossed it.
It's
Ole
crazy.
Miss is already celebrating.
Ole Miss had two opportunities at home to essentially clinch. Now, I think they had one more game in that season we're talking about.
Yeah.
And they probably would have blown it. That's because Ole Miss would blow it. But, I mean, if you're Ole Miss and you look at the SEC title game appearances, it's got to sting. I don't care that it was 97 when Mississippi State went. Mississippi State's won, Ole Miss is none.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad. I mean, we've done this thing for a long time now.
True.
Right?
It's bad. It's bad. Got to take a break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Hey, honey, it's Mom. Just wanted to call and check in, see how everything's going. You'll probably say not to worry. Everything is great. But we miss you. I'll call you back later.
No. Everything's great. I love it here.
This is Joseph Dean with Alabama Funeral Homes. As many of you are aware, we had a fire that significantly damaged our facilities. We are in the process of getting those rebuilt. We apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused the families that we serve. I want you to know that we are capable of handling all of your needs at Frederick Dean Funeral Home of Opelika, which will be servicing Alabama Funeral Homes families. We can be reached at our same number, 256-896-4502, or by email at joseph@alabamafuneralhomes.com.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense. Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
Frontline Outfitters provides all your aftermarket parts for your cars, trucks, and as well as your professional tinting solutions for auto, residential, and commercial buildings. Frontline Outfitters also handles vinyl wraps, spray-in bed liners, truck accessories, LED lighting, paint correction and detailing, and much more. Make sure Frontline Outfitters of Alexander City is your first call for tinting and aftermarket solutions. Call us today, 256-409-8100.
Looking to sell your car, truck, or SUV? Look no further than King Honda. As a local family-owned business, we're committed to providing you with the best service and value. Nobody pays you more for your vehicle than King Honda.
You've trusted us for generations. You can trust King Honda to give you top dollar for your vehicle, whether you buy from us or not. Trust in our time-tested tradition of excellence at King Honda.
Visit King Honda today and get top dollar for your vehicle. Located on the corner of Opelika Highway and 280.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Live program. Thank you so much for all of you out there being with us. Andy and Luke here with you. Just a couple of more segments in the first hour of tonight's program.
Let me just say something. I said,
chime in.
I said, Patrick, I said, I hope you got my back when he was talking about I was being, he said, I got your back. That's my main man, Patrick Judkins, right there. I don't care. Auburn, Alabama.
So you were being
Alex
thrown
City
under
sticks
the
together.
bus?
Probably.
Okay.
I mean, look, it isn't the first time. I mean,
that's where you live half the time, right?
Under the bus. I mean, like, it rarely does the bus move.
So you ought to be comfortable anyway.
Look, if I'm not getting run over the bus, and here's the thing: when you run a podcast called Locked On Bama, you're going to piss off some Auburn people,
sure,
or Tennessee people.
It should work that way.
That's how it works. In fact, it was great. Jimmy and I did a podcast right after Perry Thompson flipped. We knew it was coming, right? And we were like, but let's wait till after it happens, then we can, and we, honestly, to God, if you watch the podcast, I think we were pretty reasonable about all of it, going, hey, it sucks. I'd rather be the flipper than the flippee, but it happens. And you know what? There's a decent chance he could flip back, so don't cuss at the recruits. That's sort of a good rule anyway. Don't cuss at 18-year-old kids because they don't do what you want them to do when you don't even know, they don't know who you are. Don't cuss at them ever.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good rule, right?
Well, okay. Bruce Pearl said the same thing about who's the big center. I can't even remember his name at the moment.
Kessler?
Walker Kessler. He's, when he chose North Carolina, he said, I wanted to say you're an idiot. But he said, no, I didn't. You can't do that. You got to be really nice.
Yeah.
And he ends up at Auburn.
Because, again, these things could happen. It could change on a whim. I mean, Corey Grant went to Alabama, didn't work out, goes to Auburn. I bet you I know for a fact, people we know sort of dog cussed Corey Grant. And you know what? At the time, I was kind of getting it. But the more I've gotten into this, fans are awful. But anyway.
No question. People are the worst.
People are the worst. But, no, so when you do that, just like Zach
Let me ask you this right quick. You said that Jimmy was more angry than you
He
were.
wasn't angry. Angry's a bad word. He's never been angry in his life.
He was more animated, or I don't know, whatever word you want to use. At the fans, at Thompson, at Auburn.
No. I just think I think he was more befuddled.
Okay.
Like it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. But we can't even see. We're also very realistic. Like there had been fans saying, "There goes Hugh up to his old tricks." I'm like, yeah, everybody's up to their old tricks. This is let me tell you something. If you think NIL didn't factor into this, you're crazy.
Of course.
If you think NIL won't factor into it, when he signs on the dotted line, you're crazy. It factors into all of it. And in fact, Bama Online, which is now part of the On3 network, which is what Jimmy's on, I think they're the best. I really do, because Shannon Terry started. He does a great job. And Andrew Bone, who does a marvelous job for him, has written for 20 years for Bama recruiting. He said, look, yeah, Alabama used up a lot of NIL money last year. and they got one of the best classes in the history. So this year, they're being a little bit more selective about, like, so if somebody says, I can do it, but we need to let this happen, and you're not supposed to do it that way. We all know this, but we also all know that's what's going on. And I think Andrew did it in such a way that was very diplomatic, saying, you know, it didn't, I'm trying to say something without saying something. And so everybody needs to understand. But you know what?
Well, would you say, and would you think it's fair to say, that Auburn, at least on the surface, appears to have a coach and administration and boosters on the same page for a while?
Yes.
And this will probably, not necessarily flipping, but Auburn getting their fair share of the highest level of recruits is something we're all going to have to get used to.
Let me say, and I'll agree with you, and I'll even say this before DeMarcus Riddick committed, about a week and a half before, I was talking to somebody who would know, and they said Auburn got their NIL right. They said they hadn't had their NIL right. It's been a problem. It's been an issue.
I would think a lot of the big donors weren't going to give to Harsin.
There's no doubt about it. And when you but it's not just getting the NIL right too. You've got to know, you know, you can't just get a big NIL check and then start saying, okay, everybody that signs with us, you're going to get this, this, and this. No, you got to figure out, you got to massage the system. And again, I'm not mad at Hugh Freeze about any of that at all, because I know Nick Saban's doing it. I know all of them are doing it. And I say Nick Saban's doing it, and I say Hugh Freeze doing it. It's probably somebody else who's doing this. And it's okay. I don't even care. It doesn't matter. And if Perry Thompson signed with Auburn, bully on him. Good for him. You know what? Again, it's fine. It's good for the state. So I don't get worked up about recruiting as much anymore while Nick Saban's there. When Mike Sheila was there, I got worked up about recruiting. So, you know, that's my deal.
Well, just for a little, you know, disclaimer for Auburn fans out there. Remember how you felt when Cam Coleman committed to Texas A&M? And I was told not a week ago by somebody that, yeah, I still think he probably ends up coming back to Auburn. The same way you were talking about Perry Thompson. I mean, it would not shock me if Cam signed with Auburn, Perry signed with Alabama. Wouldn't shock me in the least. It wouldn't shock me if anybody did. I have no, there's nothing set in stone until, even when you sign on the dotted line, it's not set in stone really, but it's just.
You don't have to look any further. Peyton Bowen last year was one of the top safeties in the country. And, like, he was flip-flopping between Oregon and Oklahoma. And honestly, I follow recruiting as much as anybody. I can't even remember which one he signed with, because he committed to both back and forth. And you could tell there was just a bidding war. And, again, more power to him. Now, there is a part of me, there's a traditionalist side of me that goes, this is unsustainable and can't last. Like, we can't keep doing this. Eventually, some big donor is going to, you know, everybody's going to run out, right?
Well, at some point, you know, you're going to fork out all this money for a guy that's a Byron Coward, and that next guy's going to go, well, let's hold off on what we give this time.
But the moment you do that is the moment things start going sideways. I'm just telling you, it's more dog eat dog than ever.
That's why it's unsustainable.
Yeah.
Got to take a break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. One more segment in the first hour of tonight's program.
It's truck season at AHSAA Automotive. New Honda Ridgelines, $349 a month. Ford Rangers, $357 a month. Nissan Frontiers, $379 a month. And Chevrolet Silverados, $399 a month at AHSAA Automotive. Plus, you get a lifetime warranty, no charge, engine, powertrain, and more. It's truck season at AHSAA Honda, Tony Serra Ford, Serra Nissan, and Serra Chevrolet.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau Tritoons, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
You don't have to ask who,
What or why? Who's Diner is the go-to place for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Conveniently located at the corner of Highway 22 and 280 in Alex City. Who's Diner offers the best meals and the best deals in town. Try our fresh, made-from-scratch pancakes, chicken salad, Philly cheesesteak, or the Who Burger. It doesn't get any better than who? Who's Diner, of course, on the corner of Highway 22 and 280. Who's hungry? The same professionals you've trusted with your urgent care is now your primary health provider. Main Street Family Care. We provide annual physical exams as well as monitoring health conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes, asthma, and more. All major insurances accepted, Medicaid, Medicare, and have self-pay options to accommodate everyone. See us in Alex City, just across from Walmart. Your care is our primary concern.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Coastal Construction Design is the area's storm specialist experts and offers free roof inspections absolutely free to assess your needs. Their roofing experts get your home or commercial needs handled from start to finish. They have worked with all major insurance sources for decades, and they are permitted and approved for Lake Martin. Coastal Construction Design also handles exterior restoration, including siding and gutters. They are also a GAF certified contractor. Visit coastalconstruction.pro or call 251-215-3429. Coastal Construction Design. All things roofing from start to end.
Let Riverbank and Trust open doors for you. Whether you're purchasing land, a lot by the lake, or building or buying a home, begin with Tallapoosa County's loan experts. They'll guide you through the entire process, providing local decision-making, prompt responses, and the best real estate loan solutions for your unique needs. And in most cases, Riverbank and Trust can close your loan in 30 days or less, and they'll walk by your side every step of the way. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. We invite you to experience it for yourself.
Welcome back, everyone, to the final segment, the first hour of tonight's program. Be sure to stay tuned with us. Bob Kessling coming up next.
Can I say
voice of the
two
Volunteers?
probably interesting things here to wrap up the hour?
Number one. Why be any different?
Just be yourself, Luke. You know, I'm just sitting here like everybody else, and I don't even write for the paper anymore. I've tried to give up that life. In 2017, I wrote what I thought was a rather humorous article.
What year was that?
2017.
It's been that long?
It's been a long time, Andy.
Wow.
And it was really more poking fun at me than anybody else.
I would agree with that statement.
I know. A lot of people did not take it that way.
No.
And so Randy Lee chimed in talking about the Locked On Auburn people talking about, he said, Luke's just glad it's not one of the Outlook's message boards because of a high school football article. And he's dead on correct about that. I still have not been able to go to Atlanta via Highway 22 since that article for fear for my own safety.
Yeah, I wouldn't eat at General's either if I...
Not doing it. And then today, another funny thing kind of happened. So, you know, do the Locked On Bama thing, whatever. A guy called me today and said, hey, I'm looking for something, looking for this, need a router. And heard you guys have one. We do, and we couldn't help, but, you know, I talked to him about it in a minute. He goes, are you Luke Robinson, like Locked On Bama Luke Robinson? I was like, yeah. I was like, oh, God.
Where was this?
Today at work.
At work, okay.
And he said, yeah, I listen to you a lot. And he said, I'm a Bama fan. And I was like, good. I thought you were just going to say, you know, you're the biggest jackass. But he said, he said, you know, listen to you all the time. He said, yeah, man, you got to quit going on mute. You know, my thing is, and I don't mean to do this.
Going on mute.
Okay, when you do a podcast, we do a podcast and we have two window frames. I put myself on mute when Jimmy's talking because my phone may ring in the background, or if I'm at home, I've got this little Morky Poo yapper dog that is apparently eating its own skin now for some reason. It's got diseases at the yin yang. It's also got separation anxiety from my wife, so it just howls when she's gone. So, like, I mute the background. I got a 6-year-old that's just all the time, like, popping. And so I mute myself. But when you mute yourself, sometimes you forget that you're on mute. And so I'll like, Jimmy will screw up and I'll be like, ha, you screwed up. And Jimmy will go, hey, Luke, you're on mute. And I'll be like, you didn't even hear me say, ha, you screwed up, you know? And so people, that's sort of my thing. For a long time, people were mad at me. They were like, quit, this bit isn't funny. I was like, it's not a bit. And I know far more about technology than Jimmy does. Is the only reason I'm doing this. Like, I know nothing about technology. Jimmy is a Neanderthal. I'm talking about he has a rotary phone in his car, kind of Neanderthal. And
phone.
So anyway, the guy, I mean, like, people are like, yeah, you just go on mute. That's what you do. I was like, yeah. I'm sure people would appreciate me going on mute much more often.
You know what? After hearing all that,
you kind of want to mute.
My response is, you deserve everything you get for getting a dog named a Morky Poo.
I didn't get the dog. My wife got it while we were dating, and
that
has
should
not
have been
perished
sign
yet.
number one.
And this dog, listen, let me tell you, if people want to ask, hey, Luke, how's things going? I got one son at Arizona State. I got 2 other kids that are in Ohio. I've got a 6-year-old that is in everything that you can possibly be. I'm talking about every camp, every activity. She never gets tired. Like, I come home, I drive from Birmingham every day, and I come back and I'm tired just from driving. Now I'm older, I'm 50, my legs get sore from driving. That's how old I am. And I walk in the door and I'm tired. I'm trying to make myself go to the gym and pretend to work out. Randy knows my terrible workout routine. And my daughter's like, let's play Uno. I can't. She's like, well, carry me on your shoulders. I'm like, you're 6 now and I'm 50. This doesn't work anymore. She's like, well, let's do that washing machine game. I'm like, that's what I used to do when you were young. I'd just grab her, just do washing machine, like you're in the, and she's like, she never stops. She's like, let's play Monopoly. I'm like, I don't have time to play Monopoly. I'm going to bed at 7 o'clock. What are you talking about? But anyway, yeah, that's how things, and then now I've got a dog, by the way, a Morky Poo, that I have to put a diaper on.
Again, you deserve everything you get.
I'm with you.
You're going to have a dog that's called Morky Poo.
It's a Morky Poo. All I know for sure is the mama wasn't monogamous. That's what we say. Danny Brown used to have that famous line, and I'm stealing it from him.
Yeah.
I gave him credit just now, but I'm not doing it anymore. Danny, that's your last credit.
Your daughter sounds a lot like you marked her.
Yeah.
Because she sounds like exactly what you are.
Well, here's the funny thing. My wife is the night owl. She is the socialite. She parties. She goes. She's super. She's into PR. Owns her own PR firm. She does everything. She's just and she knows everybody. I know everybody, but I only know everybody through somebody else. Like, I don't think anybody really knows me. They're like, yeah, I know the tall guy that she married to. People call me Krista's husband. That's what they do.
Yeah.
But they know me. Yeah, you're the jackass that's always on mute on Locked On Bama. But I am hyper, and my wife's kind of hyper, and you would think like 2 hypers together it'd be fine. It really has doubled the hyperactivity in this daughter. I mean, she does not, Andy, she doesn't stop, and I'm so tired. I just want her to stop for a minute.
That's why you should enjoy this 2 hours, I guess.
I do. This is really a respite.
This is like therapy for Luke. If you got any suggestions for Luke, 256-234-6221. Give us a call. Let us know what's on your mind. Or you can dial something Sportz Blitz Facebook page. That's Sports with A to Z. We're going to go ahead and take a break. This will conclude hour number 1, but never fear. Hour number 2 is on the way, and hopefully we'll be joined by the voice of the Tennessee Volunteers, Mr. Bob Kessling, right after this.
Now at Glenn Smith in Opelika, the new full-size GMC Sierra 4x4 crew cab discounted up to $9,000 off. The popular GMC Terrain up to $6,750 off. Shop online anytime at glennsmith.com. That's GLYNN Smith.com. Plus, no payments for 120 days at Glenn Smith GMC.
Over 250 new and used vehicles on the lot or on the way to Glenn Smith in Opelika. Get ready to smile.
The Alabama Slammer. It's a popular drink at parties, but drink too many and you'll wind up in this Alabama Slammer. And if you drink and drive, get ready for a real Alabama Slammer. If you're involved in a crash where a driver's been drinking, you're 4 times more likely to die.
Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
There's only one clear choice in the Lake Martin area for plumbing, heating, and air. That's All Clear Plumbing and Air. Our professionally trained technicians offer full service repair and installation on all major brands. From drips to water heaters, thermostats to entire air conditioning and heating systems, and everything in between. Our fast, reliable, and guaranteed top-notch customer service will keep you informed and up to speed through the entire process. Call us today or look for us on Facebook and Instagram at All Clear Plumbing and Air, 256-496-2056. License number 19172.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
Hi, this is Jimmy Gorey at Gorey's Furniture. Come join us for the madness of March. Come join us here at Gorey's Furniture. Make a purchase, shoot from the line, 5, 10 to 15. That's % discount off your total ticket. So come join us. Let's have fun. Everyone's a winner. Everyone will save. Come join us for the madness of March, and that's only at Gorey's Furniture.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy Graham and Luke Robinson here with you for one more hour in tonight's show. Thank you so much for all of you out there being with us. Going to go to the phone line and welcome in a very special guest. We look forward to this each and every year. Bob Kessling, the voice of the Tennessee Volunteers. This will be his 25th season with Tennessee. I said this before, like, you know, one of the old guard that's still getting it done. The voice sounds just as good as it always has.
He'd prefer you just say guard.
Guard.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Mr. Bob Kessling, thank you so much.
Instead of LLD.
Yeah, right. Mr. Kessling, thank you so much for being with us tonight. You know, look, coming off of last year and Tennessee going 11-2, know that you have to be, and everybody in Knoxville and abroad has to be in such a much better mood than they have been in quite a while.
Well, Josh Heupel and his staff they've just done an unbelievable job of kind of turning things around pretty quickly in this program. You know, most of the time when you have a coaching change, they tell you it's going to take 3 or 4 years maybe till they get their own guys in there. But Josh Heupel didn't really buy into any of that and kind of got this thing back on the tracks pretty quickly. And he did that with that NCAA investigation hanging over their heads and not knowing about the penalties and scholarship reductions. And he just went about it, rolled up his sleeves and said, there are no excuses, let's go play and coach up the guys we've got, and that's what they've done. So it's been really remarkable how fast that Josh Heupel has turned this Tennessee team into a national contender. I mean, you guys remember they were ranked number 1 in the country, and I don't think anybody would have thought a year and a half into Josh Heupel's regime that Tennessee be the number 1 team in the country. But that's where he took them, and now they're going to try and build off what was really a good season last year.
Yeah, looking at what Tennessee has on the docket this year, I mean, it's a pretty manageable schedule by SEC standards. I mean, first of all, last year I think you had Pittsburgh, that you were finishing up that home and home, but this year you have that non-conference game against Virginia, who's not projected to be very good. You do have to go to Alabama. That's going to be difficult, but you don't have to go to LSU again, and you get Georgia at home. I mean, there's a lot to be very optimistic about.
Yeah, you know, Florida's one of those wild card games. You got to go down there, and that's You don't know really what Florida's going to have. You know they got to have great athletes, but what kind of team are they going to have? So, but that's always a test for Tennessee. Tennessee, hadn't won down there in 20 years or something like that. So, winning in Gainesville has always been a difficult thing for Tennessee. So that'll be a test. You've got Texas A&M, and they'll have athletes as well. So there's some challenges on this schedule. But again, it's a manageable schedule, and you've still got to beat the teams that to win the championship. You got to get by Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. Those are always usually the big three games for Tennessee every single year, and that'll be the same again this season.
Bob, I want to just throw this out there. We talked about this just randomly earlier. The last time you brought up A&M, but the last time A&M has had a 10-win season was 2012. So, I feel like they've got the athletes to come in. But honestly, in terms of just where the program is from a chemistry standpoint, I think Tennessee's in a far better position.
Oh, I would think so, too. I mean, last year was such a disappointment for Texas A&M, and who knows if it was the NIL or injuries or just bad chemistry. Sometimes you get a team that's got a lot of talent that just never gels. But they've got athletes down there, and I think they'll be a much improved football team coming in this season. So every week in the SEC, I mean, Tennessee found out the hard way last year when they lost at South Carolina, and nobody had predicted that. And so you got to come ready to play every single week, and if you don't, you're going to get thumped. And Tennessee found that out the hard way last year, and that maybe cost Tennessee a chance to play for the national championship. So that was a hard lesson learned last year, and we'll see how Tennessee can build off that tough loss last year.
Well, certainly offense has not been a problem. I don't think anybody in their wildest dreams would have thought Tennessee number one in total offense, number one in passing efficiency, number one in points scored at 46.1. Hendon Hooker last year was absolutely terrific. He moves on now. So I guess it's Joe Milton. We all know about his incredible strength. What about his accuracy, and what about him leading this volunteer offense? So the expectations are just kind of to pick up right where they left off?
Well, Joe's a guy that's been around college football. This is his sixth year, so he's seen everything. He's a very mature leader now on this football team. There's no doubt he has an exceptional arm. He's a physical specimen, and but now it's about where he is from the shoulders up, and about reading defenses and making the calls. And he and Hendon Hooker just had a tremendous bond the last couple of years. And you would think when you bring a guy in, Joe Milton, it was his job when he came in a couple of years ago, and suddenly they had Hendon Hooker already here, and he goes through spring and kind of wasn't that impressive. Then they bring Joe Milton in basically to beat out Hendon Hooker, which he did, but then a couple of games into the season, he gets banged up, and suddenly here's Hendon Hooker coming in and doesn't turn the job back over. So Joe Milton has kind of sat and watched for a couple of years and has watched Hendon Hooker and how he has run the offense, and they developed a tremendous bond. I mean, they were roommates competing on the field, but they were roommates off the field, and really inseparable the last year especially. And so now it's Joe Milton's team. There's no question. There's no controversy at quarterback. There's no doubt that he's the guy that's going to open the season at quarterback. And they've got a lot of confidence that with his ability to be around the system now for this the third year, that he'll understand all the checks and where you're supposed to throw it. And what Josh Heupel wants you to do is take care of the football. And, Joe Milton in the past, that has been one of the things that he's been criticized for, is his accuracy. Well, he'll have receivers running open in this offense, and now it's a matter of if he can hit them, and if he hits them, Tennessee can have a big, big season because Joe Milton can hit them about 70 yards downfield. That's how far he can throw the football. So it's going to be really interesting, and I would think if you would ask what's the biggest question about this Tennessee team is how will Joe Milton perform and how well will he lead this team? But from everything they've been saying so far, they've got a lot of confidence that Joe Milton's ready for the job, and he obviously played well in the Orange Bowl, so that gives you a lot more confidence as well.
I want to skip ahead to 2024 just for a second. I want to get your thoughts on Oklahoma and Texas coming into the league then. And also, were you just mildly disappointed that you guys drew Oklahoma when you just had a home-and-home with them and you could have played Texas? I mean, I felt like that was a much more fun type of matchup considering Oklahoma and Tennessee have played recently.
Well, you know, they had the home-and-home with Oklahoma several years ago. They had another one scheduled.
Yeah.
Then they put that on the back burner because of Oklahoma and Texas coming in. I think it's good for the league. I think that because everybody's expanding, and you better get out ahead of it. And I think that Texas and Oklahoma, from an SEC standpoint, were the two best choices they could make. There's some people saying, well, can you add Clemson or Florida State? Or those teams are all fine and good. But, I mean, Texas and Oklahoma, when you're talking about brands in college football, they don't get much better than that. So I think those two teams are going to add a lot, and I'm not sure that the SEC is done expanding yet. I'm not sure any of these conferences are done. Where this is going to be in 5 or 10 years, we don't know what college football is going to look like. But I think the SEC is going to always be a leader because they've got some of the biggest brands in college football in this league, and you think it's hard winning the league now. Wait till next year and try and figure out how you're going to win the SEC. It's going to be really, really difficult because you'll have landmines every single week.
One more question, Bob, and we'll let you go. But it's got to kind of feel like the dark cloud has been lifted over the program with the announcement of the investigation kind of closing and the punishment being doled out. Do you feel like, or maybe, does Tennessee feel like they kind of got away pretty good when it's all said and done? I mean, $8 million is nothing to sneeze at as a fine, but no postseason ban.
Well, that was one of the main issues that from the very start, they didn't want the current players punished for something that happened 3 or 4 years ago. And so that the university was very pleased with that aspect of it. They have withstood the scholarship limitations that they really self-imposed that didn't seem to slow the program down. I mean, even with the scholarship restrictions that they put on themselves, they still were the number one team in the country last year. So those scholarship restrictions didn't seem to slow them down. They're now, as Coach Josh Heupel said today, close to 85. When he got here, they were in the 60s scholarship-wise. Now they're close to 85, and so a full roster. And the biggest thing, it's like this big cloud that has been lifted, and that was the biggest thing that hurt them. It was in recruiting because obviously the recruits want to know, are you going on probation or can we play in a bowl? What's going to happen and all those type things. Well, now that's all been resolved, and I think from considering how many violations that Tennessee had and just what a mess that whole thing was, to come out of it the way Tennessee did, I think they've got to be very, very pleased. And I think that the Tennessee administration, from top to bottom, really cooperated with the NCAA, and I think they're satisfied with the results and not happy that it happened. You never want your program to go through this and have all these scars and bruises, but still, I think they handled it the best they could have, and now it's moving on, and I think they can turn the page. And again, I think the cloud's lifted, so that's a good thing.
Well, practice is on the way. It'll start probably around the SEC this week, and before you know it, we'll be playing games. So looking forward to it, Bob. Thank you so much for being with us tonight, and hope you have a great season, and good luck to the Volunteers.
I appreciate you guys. I always enjoy being on with you. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, Bob.
so
You're the
much.
best.
Appreciate it. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more of Sports Blitz Live right after this.
Looking to sell your car, truck, or SUV? Look no further than King Honda. As a local family-owned business, we're committed to providing you with the best service and value. Nobody pays you more for your vehicle than King Honda.
You've trusted us for generations. You can trust King Honda to give you top dollar for your vehicle, whether you buy from us or not. Trust in our time-tested tradition of excellence at King Honda.
Visit King Honda today and get top dollar for your vehicle. Located on the corner of Opelika Highway and 280.
Talladega Talladega Outdoors in Talladega is your authorized Kawasaki sale and service center. Your home for Bad Boy mowers and Kimco scooters, four-wheelers, and side-by-sides. Rather for hunting, land management, or recreation, they have the ride for you. But they are also everything outdoor with full lines of accessories and is now your Ariat workwear and boot store, along with kayaks and outdoor accessories. Talladega Outdoor, Highway 21 in Talladega. Everything outdoor and Alabama's #1 Kawasaki dealer.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus, making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal, the encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
When you need an automotive hero, you got to call S&S Discount Tire Pros. With locations in Alexander City and Dayville, we are here to serve you today. From quick services like oil changes and tire rotations to in-depth automotive repairs such as suspensions, brakes, and tune-ups, S&S can take care of all your tire needs. You just have to focus on what's important and love the drive. Call S&S Discount Tire Pros today. We are automotive heroes, and we are here to serve you.
Glenn Smith and Opelika, the new full-size GMC Sierra 4x4 crew cab, discounted up to $9,000 off. The popular GMC Terrain up to $6,750 off. Shop online anytime at glennsmith.com. That's GLYNN Smith.com. Plus, no payments for 120 days at Glenn Smith GMC.
Over 250 new and used vehicles on the lot or on the way to Glenn Smith and Opelika. Get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you. Only about 40 more minutes left in tonight's program. Thank you so much for all of you out there being with us, and thank you so much to Bob Kessling, the voice of the Vols, for being with us. Again, I always look forward to that each and every year. Next segment, Stephen Willis from Locked On Ole Miss, talk about the Rebels. Luke, do you have any Tennessee games, coaches, or players that are memorable for you?
A ton. I've been to Knoxville, probably Knoxville and I guess Baton Rouge and Auburn, of course, are probably the three I've been to the three road games. But for a while there, I was going to Knoxville just about every other year. It was so much fun. I remember when Peyton Manning was a freshman and he came in, he was splitting time with Brandon. What was the guy's name? Brandon Smith, Brandon something. And he ended up transferring to A&M, ironically.
Okay.
But, and Alabama beat them. That was 94. I was in Birmingham for the Saran Stacy Explodes game, 1989. That was a lot of fun. Alabama won 47-30. I was, Bill Curry had some memorable moments that particular year. But let me think. Obviously the Cody kick, I was there, blocked the kick, I was there for that. Then, it's a fun road trip. I can tell you, Knoxville's. Have you been to Knoxville yet?
I have not. I was going to a basketball game last year, and something got in the way.
Yeah, it's a pretty fun road trip. Knoxville's a long way away.
It's not short.
It ain't easy. But, yeah, and you know, obviously Tennessee with Peyton Manning, and then it's just kind of ironic that they win the national championship the next year with what I consider to be a lesser team. I would say
And
if those two
much lesser quarterback.
if those two teams played against each other, wouldn't you think the Peyton Manning-led team would win?
Yes.
But just interesting. And then, you know, they had some
had a string of good running backs there for the old Cobb Webb.
Cobb Webb was great. And, you know, that was the 89 season because I think they had beaten Auburn earlier that year with, I think, Cobb Webb actually went off against Auburn.
I think that sounds right.
No, Cobb went off against Auburn. And then because.
Well, he was full of cocaine.
Because, yeah, he got in trouble. Because he was suspended for the Alabama game, and Chuck Webb had to carry the rock most of the time. But who was the wide receiver they had? Starts with a C. I used to be awesome at this.
Peerless Price.
No. I'm talking about around that time. Carl Pickens.
Oh, yeah, Carl Pickens.
Of course, they had Alvin Harper back in the day, who was, I mean, a burner.
They had, who was the, oh, my goodness, played for the Bears. Willie Gault.
Willie Gault, yeah. Boy, I remember I remember exactly where I was in 1990, Gene Stallings' first year. Alabama had already lost, you know, if you remember, they lost their first 3 games of the year that year, or first 2 games of the year, and then they ended up beating Vanderbilt. And Lee Corso said Alabama couldn't beat a high school team. They're going into Knoxville and going to get embarrassed. Philip Doyle makes the kick at the end after Stacey Harrison blocks the kick. Attempt by Tennessee, and the ball just rolls all the way into Tennessee territory. Alabama runs a couple of plays. Philip Doyle makes a field goal. They tried to ice him. He gets hit in the mouth. They actually roughed the kicker, and he's bleeding. But he runs over the Tennessee sideline, does finger guns. You know, you're always serious when you do finger guns. But I remember where I was for the 92 game. That was a tough game in Knoxville. Alabama went up there. Of course, they went on to go undefeated, but that game was very difficult. And I mean, yeah, Alabama and Tennessee have had it. Just people, the rivalry's been diminished because of what Nick Saban did to them. I mean, he took their soul for a long time, but it really is one of the better rivalries in college football. It take out the last 15 years.
Yeah, I mean, Auburn in 2004, that was one of those games that, you know, everybody remembers, and then they end up playing again in the SEC title game. That 97 SEC title game, to this day, I mean, Auburn still should have won the game, even though they had negative yards rushing. It was a complete Damian Craig show. That's all it was. And that's the only reason we were even close. And should have won the game even so.
Okay, you may not remember the year, but I remember the blurb from Sports Illustrated. Back in the day before internet, when really the only, you know, you had to wait on Sports Illustrated to get a national perspective or whatever. I'll never forget there was a linebacker for Tennessee named Keith DeLong.
Yeah.
And Auburn and Tennessee were playing, I think it was in Knoxville. And Auburn, for some reason, their quarterback, who was the quarterback who got in trouble at Crystals? Jeff Berger. I think it was Jeff Berger. Instead of spiking the ball, he threw it like he snapped it and then threw it out of bounds to stop the clock. And they said Keith DeLong took DeLong way to get on the field, get in position, and it rattled him or something. And I'll never forget that blurb. And he threw it out of bounds trying to stop the clock, and they ended in a tie.
Had to be 87 or 88.
Well, the 80, was it 86 or 85 when Tennessee beat Auburn, and the game was on the cover. It was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Tony Robinson.
That was 05, I think, when Bo was.
Not 05.
I said 85.
Yeah.
When Bo was hurt, I think.
Yeah, Tony Robinson was on the cover. And, yeah, I went to that game. I went to Alabama in 88. Tennessee had not won a game all year in 88. Alabama beats them. They steamroll them. Tennessee doesn't lose a game again. They go all the way around until Alabama and Legion Field the next year in 89. I mean, it's just that rivalry's kind of weird. It's just like Auburn LSU. I mean, it's just got weird stuff that happens.
Yeah. I was at the Auburn-Tennessee game in 1990 where Tennessee missed a field goal at the end, and Auburn, we tied 26-all, and Auburn fans were cheering.
Yeah, I remember that.
And Tennessee was just, because I think they were up 2 touchdowns going to the fourth quarter, and all of a sudden Stan White got hot and started throwing the ball around. We ended up cutting it and tying the game. And it was funny. I mean, it was weird, but it was funny. Got to take a break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with Stephen Willis from Locked On Ole Miss right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Planting season is here, and the Potting Shed Garden Center is happy to give you professional landscaping advice when it comes to planting your shrubs and trees. Auburn's best kept secret will have it all this fall. Mums, pansies, pumpkins, and much more. All an array of colors and sizes, along with beautiful pots and containers, indoor plants, and a great selection of other gardening gifts. It's all at the Potting Shed Garden Shop, where natural elements reign supreme. Located on the corner of Moore's Mill and Society Hill Road in Auburn.
Have you stopped by Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store lately? If you haven't, you should. You'll find great pieces for your favorite do-it-yourself project. Lightly used name brand clothing by Free People, North Face, Matilda Jane, Patagonia, and a whole lot more. And while you're there, don't miss the shoes, decorative pieces, classic and new books, and Auburn and Alabama gear that won't cost you a fortune. So stop and shop at Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store today for a unique thrift experience that won't break the budget. Lifesavers Mission Thrift, located on East University behind Zaxby's.
Lake Area Realty specializes in Lake Martin real estate. They can help simplify your next real estate purchase or sell, and have helped many home buyers and sellers through the area buy and sell real estate with precision. Lake Area Realty utilizes powerful marketing tools and knowledge of the lake to help you with your next move. Call your local hometown agency today. Lake Area Realty at 256-825-4800. That's 256-825-4800. Lake Area Realty, helping you find your way home.
Looking to sell your car, truck, or SUV? Look no further than King Honda. As a local family-owned business, we're committed to providing you with the best service and value. Nobody pays you more for your vehicle than King Honda.
You've trusted us for generations. You can trust King Honda to give you top dollar for your vehicle, whether you buy from us or not. Trust in our time-tested tradition of excellence at King Honda.
Visit King Honda today and get top dollar for your vehicle. Located on the corner of Opelika Highway and 280.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy Graham and Luke Robinson here with you. Only about 30 more minutes left in tonight's program. Thank you so much for all of you out there being with us. Going to go back to the phone line and welcome in another special guest, Mr. Stephen Willis from Locked On Ole Miss. Stephen, how you doing this evening?
Man, I'm doing just absolutely peachy. How are you guys doing?
Doing really well. Thank you so much. Let's dive in and talk a little Ole Miss football here. Lane Kiffin, going into his fourth season, has done a pretty admirable job there in Oxford. 10-3 in 2021. A little bit step backwards last year at 8-5. What's the expectation this year?
It goes in all kinds of different directions, because one day I look at the schedule and I think 7-5. One day I look at the schedule, I think 10-2. And part of that is the fact that Ole Miss has the most talented football team that they've had in my 45 years of being alive. You have a Gatorade National Player of the Year quarterback, the best player running back in college football, 2 all-conference wide receivers, and 2 of the top 10 draft picks at tight end, and you return basically everybody on the offensive line. you have all of that, and then you get to add Pete Golding, which you know all about Pete Golding. And Alabama fans might think whatever they want to think about Pete Golding, but he's an upgrade over at Ole Miss. And we just have a situation where we need to get possessions for the offense from the defensive side of the ball. We think Pete can do that. And if he does that and Jackson Dart progresses like I think he is, this team has a chance to be really dangerous.
You know, it's kind of unfortunate for this particular team with all those accolades and all those great players coming back, in the sense that this just happens to be the year they have to go to Georgia. They have to go to Tuscaloosa. They have to go to Auburn and face off against their old coach in Hugh Freeze. I mean, it just seems rather unfortunate for Ole Miss to be in this schedule cycle.
Yeah, it's kind of bad luck when you think about it, because when was it? Back in 1998 when Ole Miss went over and played Auburn and they had Tommy Tuberville and Ole Miss was able to win that game. I figured this will be a reverse of that game. I've talked to Auburn people that have said that game is circled and that it's a game that Hugh Freeze just wants to win, and it's right after Auburn plays Georgia and LSU, which I don't know why they're playing Georgia in like September, but whatever. And you have a situation with Auburn where they could just put everything into it, and that game just scares the hell out of me, honestly. It just has a chance to be a really difficult game for Ole Miss, and I know that game is going to be at night. I'm prepared for that. And Jordan Hare at night, and you know, with horseshoes and everything that goes on in that stadium. So I guess you guys know that better than most.
I know it better than most. Andy would call it incredible preparation and skill. I say that Jordan Hare Stadium is built on a Indian burial ground, on top of a unicorn graveyard, on top of a series of crashed UFOs. But that's just me.
Yeah, it's like Poltergeist 3, that's what's happening in Jordan Hare.
I want to go back to Quinshon Judkins for just a second. Look, Lane Kiffin gets a lot of heck for probably his lack of recruiting prowess, or at least his lack of enthusiasm for recruiting. When you look, around the SEC, you could see Kirby Smart, you see Nick Saban, you see Hugh Freeze, you see people that just love recruiting, right? And they get after it. But Lane Kiffin seems like, I'd love to have you, but I'm not really worried about it. But he did see something in Quinshon Judkins that the Alabama and Auburn people didn't see, and that's got to give you a lot of optimism for his eye for talent.
Yes, his evaluation, and Kevin Smith, who is actually back at Ole Miss now as the running back coach, he has an eye for talent. He's the one that has picked several running backs out. And Quinshon Judkins, probably the thing that Alabama and Auburn saw that caused them to not see the talent was the fact that he was only a 3-star.
Yeah.
And I understand, the type of player they're used to getting. I mean, Alabama has gotten Josh Jacobs in the past, so, it happens before. But I think an in-state kid and a 3-star, Alabama and Auburn just kind of like, okay, yeah, he's a good player. He rushed for 1,500 yards. Okay, that's fine. But they had no idea that this guy's a grown man. And he ran for more yards than any other freshman running back in the Southeastern Conference than Herschel Walker's the only one that ran for more. And if Quinshon Judkins has the same season he had last year, he will break Deuce McAllister's career rushing record at Ole Miss as a sophomore.
That's insane.
That is crazy to think about. And I tell people all the time, it's like, I think he might be the best running back in college football. Heck, he might be the best college football player.
He is really, really special. Speaking of eye for talent, have you seen Lane Kiffin's latest tweet where he tweeted out his National Girlfriend Day and he posted a picture of who he is currently with?
Yes, and after looking at it, I'd probably post that picture as well.
I would post that picture, put it in my wallet, put it all over my social media, just to let people. It'd be sort of like George Costanza saying, "Hey, they let me in the kingdom." This is if you date one really attractive girl, others will follow, right? I mean, Lane's never really had a problem with the ladies, I would say, though. But let's go back to Pete Golding for just a second.
Okay.
I think as an Alabama fan, I can tell you, I tried so hard to put my arms around Pete Golding. I think I really wanted to like him. I think he's a pretty good recruiter, and he's young, and he's got a lot of energy. But, boy, he had some schemes that just had Alabama fans scratching their heads a lot. And, you know, Will Anderson not rushing the passer quite as often as we thought he should, you know, dropping back into coverage sometimes when, you know, clearly – he is one of the best sack artists that we've seen in, you know, half a century. So I just things like that always puzzled us. But you seem to make it out to be that he's being very well received in Oxford right now.
He is. He's an absolute fan favorite at the moment. And the way we look at Pete Golding is he is that Major League Baseball relief pitcher that can throw 95% ground balls. He's going to do that every time. You can count on it. More times than not, he's going to get the opponent to hit ground into a double play. But every now and then, the other team is going to find holes. And it's going to get to the infield, and it's going to cost your team. And that's probably what happened against Alabama when they played LSU last year. But for the most part, he's going to be very schematically sound and do exactly what you want him to do. I think Pete Golding gets a bad rap a little bit because he followed Jeremy Pruitt and Kirby Smart, and then college football changed. He was the one that had to play on the other side of the field when Tua was calling his shots. Whenever what's his name? Anyway, I'm an Ole Miss fan. Whenever Mac was doing his thing in 2020, and those players, Bryce Young doing his stuff, that caused a little bit of a change in the mindset between offense and defense and exactly what you wanted your defense to do. I think Pete Golding tried to do that a couple of times at bidding because he would bend it but don't break, or he would do whatever was necessary to win. But sometimes it just didn't come off. The offense didn't exactly do what they needed to do. I don't know if it was necessarily Pete Golding's fault more than it was college football's fault, for lack of a better term.
Mac Jones, I think.
Mac Jones is who you're looking for. I didn't even know what team you were talking about.
Yeah, Mac Brown was a punter at Ole Miss, and once that entered my head, it was over.
It was done, yeah.
Stephen, thank you so much for taking some time for us tonight. Really appreciate the update, and really appreciate Locked On Ole Miss. You do a great job. Have a great season.
All right, thank you guys very much. We'll see y'all later.
See you, Stephen. See you, buddy.
Don't go anywhere. More to come on this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
At CNT Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Have you met your local Farmers Insurance agent, Patrick Holina? He proudly serves Tallapoosa County and Alexander City families and businesses and is ready to review your existing policies or provide a no-obligation quote today. Call the Holina Agency at 256-234-0037 or stop in today at 704 Commerce Drive to get smarter about your insurance. Again, that's the Holina Agency, 256-234-0037.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
The food at Oscar's Cafe makes your mouth water. At Oscar's, enjoy great tasting catfish, or maybe you're just in the mood for one of Oscar's fresh salads. Even kids know the place for a fine meal is Oscar's with a great kids menu. Oscar's also has great tasting burgers full of backyard flavor. So come on out to Oscar's Cafe for great food and homegrown hospitality. We're located on Highway 49 South in Dadeville, just before the Blue Creek Bridge. And remember, it's all fun and games till there's only one cheese ball left.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus. Making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal, the encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
Let Riverbank and Trust open doors for you. Whether you're purchasing land, a lot by the lake, or building or buying a home, begin with Tallapoosa County's loan experts. They'll guide you through the entire process, providing local decision-making, prompt responses, and the best real estate loan solutions for your unique needs. And in most cases, Riverbank and Trust can close your loan in 30 days or less, and they'll walk by your side every step of the way. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. We invite you to experience it for yourself.
Lake Area Realty specializes in Lake Martin real estate. They can help simplify your next real estate purchase or sell and have helped many home buyers and sellers through the area buy and sell real estate with precision. Lake Area Realty utilizes powerful marketing tools and knowledge of the lake to help you with your next move. Call your local hometown agency today, Lake Area Realty, at 256-825-4800. That's 256-825-4800. Lake Area Realty, helping you find your way home.
Well, welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you. Only a couple more segments left in tonight's show. Been a fun one. Been gone by really fast, to me at least.
Why can't we do just like one longer segment?
Well, I don't think that's not the way it works. Got to pay the bills, like Bob said. We don't
have to pay the bills.
Don't tempt me. We will. Any thoughts on Ole Miss? Any of the things that I think when you're trying to talk yourself into how good your defensive coordinator is,
I liked what he brought to the table.
Yeah.
I liked what I guess brought to the table. I do find it kind of funny when you say it's college football's fault that our defensive coordinator may not be as good as everybody thinks.
Yeah. Who knows? He may do
Who are you going to believe, me or your lying eyes?
Expectations, right? That's what – look, at Alabama, expectation was you don't give up 100 yards rushing and you hold them to 12 points. At Ole Miss, the expectation is don't give up 200 yards rushing and hold them to 30 points. So, I mean, probably he'll work out fine there.
I think he'll be fine there. And I mean, it's sort of like, hey, also I'll tell you, I screwed this up. I meant to ask him about Centurion Perkins.
I don't know who that is.
All right. Ole Miss should be a 5-star. I think most had him a 4-star. I saw him at the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game, and at the time he was committed to Ole Miss, but a lot of people thought he'd end up at Alabama. I said, of all the people I'm looking at, I want him. That's who I want.
What position are we talking?
Linebacker. He's got a Will Anderson vibe about him. Just a dude's dude. Look, when you go to this Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game, for those who've never been, it is a ton of fun. They do take it pretty seriously. But you go there every now and again, and you're like, okay, that's a dude I want. I remember seeing Ryan Anderson thinking, that's a dude I want. I remember Chris Jones. You remember the guy who ended up at Mississippi State?
Yeah.
And I said, I want him on my team.
Probably
He's
still playing in the NFL.
Still is. I remember DK Metcalf and A.J. Brown being on the same All-Star team for Mississippi, and Alabama couldn't do nothing with them. I mean, the Alabama side had nothing.
Nobody's done anything with them since.
Well, I mean, they had nothing. And I was like, yeah, those are some dudes right there. I remember T.J. Yeldon thinking that's a dude, But I'll tell you, like, Centurion Perkins probably made me salivate as much as anybody in terms of just a recruit I would like to see on my squad.
Right.
And I can't believe I forgot to ask him about Centurion Perkins.
Well,
and you spell it like Suntarine, Suntarine, I believe. But it's pronounced Centurion, I'm told. We will see, but I learned that at the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game. Somebody said, yes, Centurion. That's what you go with Centurion.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll dock your pay for not putting that on there. Only got, like I say, a few minutes left in this segment and then one quick one before we go. How about a little rank on Michael Bean? Happy birthday yesterday. Michael Bean. You know who Michael Bean is?
Say it regular, maybe I'll know it. Don't put so much emphasis on
Bean.
the No, I
it's
don't.
Biehn.
I do not. No, I do not.
Yes, you do.
I will when you tell me.
He is Kyle Reese. from Terminator.
Oh, sure, okay.
He's been in a lot of those. All right, great. Been in some great movies.
Okay.
Great movies. Michael Biehn, born on this day, yesterday, 1956. Terminator.
It's good.
Kind of his breakout gig. Aliens. Ooh, have recently found out, you know, that part, he actually came in to replace the guy because he got caught with drugs and was going to face court because he got caught with cocaine. So they brought Michael Biehn in later, and they actually had to, if in some of the scenes when he's not, you know, facing the camera, it's actually the other dude.
He's not the guy who went, "We're toast, man.
No,
We're
that's
toast."
Bill Paxton.
Yeah.
Who was also in Terminator. By
Yeah,
the way.
that was Bill Paxton. Yeah.
Tombstone.
Oh, that's great.
Johnny Ringo.
That's great.
The Abyss.
All right.
The
Abyss isn't bad, but everybody knows that movie ran out of money with about 20 minutes to go, and they were like, "Uh-oh, we don't have an ending yet." And they threw something together. The ending's terrible.
Which ending?
The ending.
There's two.
I hadn't seen the second one.
Okay.
I saw the one that's bad.
Which one is that?
The one where the whole thing rises up out of the sea at the end.
Okay, you do realize there's an extra ending to that where they send waves, giant tidal waves that are about to hit every city on the coast, so the places everywhere, and they stop. And the little, you know, little sea people,
the abyss people,
put the, you know, say, look, you better stop screwing around with nuclear weapons and polluting the ocean and things, or we're going to destroy you. And then the thing comes up, and, you know, everybody's like, oh, you know, great, okay, so it's a different world from now on.
That's also stupid.
I'm
because you can't just, as an Atlantean, come up from the ocean and then go, okay, y'all need to listen to us. We're going back down here. Because we'd all be like, hey, we got to put y'all in history books and stuff. I mean, we gotta dissect some of y'all. That's
really. You know, this lost city here. And one final movie, The Rock.
The Rock is great.
Very good.
I'll tell you, I like The Rock a lot. I mean, not the person, even though he's fine too. But I'm talking about the movie with Sean Connery. I dig it.
And he basically plays a soldier in all these, except Johnny Ringo, he plays a bunch.
He's like a Western soldier.
He's a really cool part in that. Yeah. All right, so Terminator, Aliens, Tombstone, Abyss, The Rock, rank them in Luke Robinson's mind.
Boy, what was the second? Oh, I think Aliens is one. I love Aliens.
Really good.
It's really good.
And he plays a really cool part.
And
survives.
Newt. We all hate Newt. Even South Park did a whole thing about making fun of Newt.
Really?
Oh, Newt's awful.
She's a kid.
I wish the aliens had just latched onto her face. Sigourney Weaver's good. Sigourney Weaver, for some reason, walked around in a see-through T-shirt in a lot of that movie. Remember?
Yeah,
I'm not complaining. I'm just saying.
Yeah, well.
No. But okay, Aliens is going to be one for me, and then I'm going to probably go Tombstone.
Yeah.
And what was the last one?
You got Terminator, Abyss, and Rock.
I'm going to go Rock, Terminator, Abyss. Even though I want to love Abyss. I want to.
It's a really good, well, you can't go wrong with any of these. They're all good movies.
They're all good movies. He's in some good movies.
Tombstone's number one.
Is he dead?
No, he's not dead. He's alive.
Well, he's out of work right now. They're all out of work.
Probably, that's true. Tombstone's number one for me. You just can't get past Tombstone. Aliens is number two. I'm going to go with The Rock, number three, in an upset.
That's what I did.
Okay. Did you?
What are you
okay,
talking
there
about?
you go.
It's not an upset.
Well, for me, I'm going to go Terminator 4 and The Abyss 5.
That's what I did.
Okay, well, there you go. But I get Tombstone number one.
Okay, sure.
But The Rock it's just, if it's on, I'm
watching it.
Yeah.
See, there's something about Nick Cage is such a bad actor that he laps back over into good.
He's Academy Award winner, Jerry.
He's not good, though. I want to like him in Ghost Rider. And I watch Ghost Rider every time it's on. I want to like him in, what was that movie, Next? Where he could see 10 minutes into the future.
Or Knowing.
No, it's the same movie. Yeah.
And it's the same actor.
Yeah, it really is.
It's weird.
Now, he was in this recent Renfield or whatever, this Dracula movie that sort of bombed.
Have you seen
I heard Oppenheimer bombed.
Really? The unbelievable. Yeah, really. That's right. The unbelievable, overwhelming of talent. Something he plays in the cage.
Yeah.
Do you see that one?
Yeah.
I actually heard it was pretty good.
Do you know Matthew McConaughey's renting a friend of mine's house in Birmingham because he's going to be in a movie?
I knew Kurt Russell was in Alabama.
Yeah, he's there too. But
same movie, I guess.
Yeah. So I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, he's renting a friend of mine's house.
Cool. Got to take a break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. One final segment of Sports Blitz Live right after this.
76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
So, you finally got the boat, ATV, or side-by-side of your dreams, huh? But make it yours with marine-grade audio that'll provide crisp, high-quality sound that's loud enough to be heard, whether you're cruising on the lake or hitting a mud hole. Come see Steve at the Car Stereo Shop in Auburn, so you'll be ready to crank up the volume. Whoa, but wait, you don't have to pull out of the water and trailer it to Auburn. The Car Stereo Shop can handle all of your work at any one of the Lake Martin marinas.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need with top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill, and our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
At Russell Medical, we're proud of our exceptional nurses, like Nurse Brandy Worthy. Brandy represents the selfless, compassionate clinical leader patients expect and coworkers admire. Brandy was recently honored with the Nightingale Award for Nursing Excellence for her high standards, sound judgment, and caring manner. Her passion for her profession inspires us all.
Being a nurse is not just what you do, it's who you are. I'm proud to be a part of the nursing team at Russell Medical. We are the link between all hospital services, providing you with exceptional, personalized care.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Talladega Outdoors in Talladega is your authorized Kawasaki sale and service center. Your home for Bad Boy mowers and Kimco scooters, four-wheelers, and side-by-sides. Rather for hunting, land management, or recreation, they have the ride for you. But they are also everything outdoor with full lines of accessories and is now your Ariat workwear and boot store, along with kayaks and outdoor accessories. Talladega Outdoor, Highway 21 in Talladega. Everything outdoor and Alabama's #1 Kawasaki dealer.
Welcome back, everyone, to the final segment of Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke taking you up to 9 o'clock. All right, one more. Joe Elliott, born today, 1959.
Oh, Joey.
Joey Elliott is the lead singer of
Rat,
Photograph, Hysteria,
Def Leppard,
Pour Some Sugar on Me, Love Bites, and Rock of Ages. Rank these
those are great songs.
all-time. Let me
Photographs one to me, though.
Tell me this, though. I mean, Def Leppard, one #1 hit in the United States. One. That's it. Of these songs.
But those are all great.
What do you think #1 song would be? Photograph, Hysteria, Pour Some Sugar on Me, Love Bites, Rock of Ages.
I bet Love Bites. It would be something
Love
stupid like
Bites,
that. Yeah.
#1.
And that one's the worst. That's the worst
song.
of those.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Photograph in somewhat of an upset, and then Pour Some Sugar on Me, and then Rock of Ages, Hysteria, Love Bites.
Okay. I'm going to go with a big upset. Hysteria, number one.
That's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, you can't go
There's
wrong.
something about that. I mean,
Hysteria.
it's
That's
just,
great.
it's
It's
just
great.
great. Yeah. I gotta say too, Love Bites. I'm a sucker for it, man.
What the hell? You just told everybody it's stupid. That was only...
No. Yeah, it is stupid. That doesn't mean I don't like it. No, I'm not putting it. Hysteria number one. I'm gonna go Pour Some Sugar on Me number two. I'm gonna go Love Bites number three.
That's stupid.
I'm gonna go
dumber than-
Photograph, and then I'm gonna go Rock of Ages.
Now, all right, I'll tell you something funny. You know, my brother and I have always, like when we were younger, we used to talk about how we had friends that always screwed up lyrics. You know, everybody screwed up lyrics, you know. Yeah. He had somebody that, like, instead of there's a bad moon on the rise, he was there's a bathroom on the right. And then he had Pour Some Sugar on Me was pour some sugar on wheat, somebody. And they were like, why would...
Yeah.
like,
That's just dumb.
that's just so dumb.
Great scene in Bull Durham.
Yeah.
Nobody's got stress. I'm wearing a dress. I hate people get the words wrong. Nuke LaLoosh singing. Women, they do get woolly.
It is funny when other people get the songs wrong. And like you can't undo it. Like if it's in your head and you're convinced that's what it is,
Yeah.
that's what you roll with.
And some songs, you never quite know what they say, and people just make up.
Mama say, Mama sa, Mama sa. I have no idea what the heck Michael Jackson was talking about.
No,
I want to be
I
starting
don't-
something.
I don't have any clue about. I'm surprised you could do that.
Mama say, Mama sa, Mama sa. Oh, look, Want to Be Starting Something is the best song on Thriller. I love, you got to love Beat It. A lot of people love Thriller. I don't even listen to Thriller anymore when it comes on. I'm done with Thriller.
I would go with PYT.
PYT is human
that's
nature.
a sneaky one. Yeah.
Human nature sneaky good. It's a 5 seed, or a 12 seed playing a 5.
Yeah. 12 ain't upset.
But yeah, I don't know how we got off on
I
that
don't
with Def
know.
Leppard. Doesn't matter. It's time to leave.
That's true. It's going to wrap it up for us tonight. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm Andy. He's Luke. So long for now, everybody. We'll talk again soon.
Have you met your local Farmers Insurance agent, Patrick Holina? He proudly serves Tallapoosa County and Alexander City families and businesses and is ready to review your existing policies or provide a no-obligation quote today. Call the Holina Agency at 256-234-0037 or stop in today at 704 Commerce Drive to get smarter about your insurance. Again, that's the Holina Agency, 256-234-0037.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.